Life for All presents Daily Food series, The Word of Life, The Fellowship of Life, and Living Stones for the Edification. The Epistles of John and Peter. Title of Book 5, The End is Near, by Pedro. Week 3, Christ died to lead us to God. Saturday, Christ died to lead us to God. Read with prayer. For Christ also suffered once for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but made alive by the Spirit. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18. Christ died for sins for the purpose of bringing us to God. Although Christ died in the flesh, his spirit did not die, for he also preached the gospel in prison. 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 19 and 20. Christ's death was not merely a martyr's death, as some think, but a substitutionary death, the just for the unjust. He died in our place so that God could justify us. However, Christ's death has a greater purpose, to bring us to God. The blood of Christ accomplished eternal redemption. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 12. Christ had to die to lead us to God. In John 14 we read, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." Verses 1 through 3. Jesus said that he would go and come back, referring to his death and resurrection. He died and rose again to take us to the place where he is. Many think that the Lord went to prepare heavenly mansions, a physical place. However, his death and resurrection are meant to take us to the Father. John chapter 14, verse 6. In verse 10 we read, "Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does the works." The death of Christ reopened the way to the tree of life, which had previously been closed to man. Genesis chapter 3, verse 24. Because he had chosen the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and had defiled himself with sin and death. However, the death of Christ reopened the way by satisfying God's requirements. The cherub represents the glory of God. The sword in his hand, which closed the way to the tree of life, refers to righteousness. Moreover, the fire, which enveloped the sword, represents God's holiness. Today, the way is open again. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 20. And we have a high priest who can sympathize with our weaknesses. He satisfied the requirements of God's righteousness, holiness, and glory, and thus reopened the way to the tree of life, to God in the most holy place. Chapter 4, verse 16. The veil that separated the holy place from the most holy place was torn at the moment Jesus died on the cross, splitting from top to bottom, not from bottom to top, which indicates that it was not a human act, but a divine one. Then, behold, the veil of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth quaked, and the rocks were split. Matthew chapter 27, verse 51. When he died, Christ descended into the lower regions of the earth, where the power of death, of the devil, reigns. Hebrews chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. Jesus descended and preached to the spirits in prison who had once been disobedient to God. The spirits mentioned here refer to angels, for angels are spirits. Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for those who will inherit salvation? Hebrews chapter 1, verse 14. There are angels who minister for those who will inherit salvation, and others who have strayed, not keeping their original state. We'll discuss this in more detail in the next message.